Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today on this video, we're going to be answering a question from a viewer. I thought it was a great question, and it has to do with my power system. We've been doing some videos recently on the new battery system that I've got that I'm going to install in that boat right there. That boat is empty right now. It doesn't even have the power poles, electronics, trolling motor, nothing. This is my 920 Elite that I picked up last week at Phoenix. And this is part of what's going to go in that boat. So we've got two 36 volt, 50 amp hour lithium batteries for the trolling motor system. So a little bit different. We used to run 312 volt, 100 amp hour in series. Now we got two 36 volts. And then we're going to be running two Group 31 AGMs, which is pretty similar to what I've run in the past for my cranking and house system. And when I say house system, I'm talking about, the cranking battery is for cranking the engine. The house battery is for putting down the power poles, bringing up the power poles, all the electronics, the lights, all that stuff. But those are going to be rigged in parallel together. So we've got two of these, and then of course we got the charger from Pro Guide. So the question that I got from a viewer, which again, really good question, why not just stick with lithium for the trolling motor system and the cranking and house battery system? Why am I sticking with AGMs? And that's a really good question. Now, there's probably more layers to this if I was a really tech savvy person. There's probably some other reasons, but I'm going to give you the reasons that I personally have for keeping AGMs as my starting and house system. But first, let's talk about lithium. Why is lithium so important for my trolling motor system? Because I'm never going back to anything else. At least, as it stands right now, lithium is the deal. I'm so sold on lithium for trolling motor system for multiple reasons. The first one being, the weight, which we're going to be talking about weight. Weight is a factor. Of course, you're losing a lot of weight with lithium, right here, even though I'm going to struggle a little bit because I'm a weakling, it's still light enough for a weakling like myself to pick it up and not cringe too much and not break anything. It's like 36 to 38 pounds, somewhere in that range. And that's a 36 volt system. You could run this pretty much all day, on this one battery, your trolling motor on one battery. And you can pick it up, with one hand and not strain too much. So weight is a big deal. We are going to reduce a lot of weight. We're going to have a lot of weight savings in the next boat because of this system. Another reason is, warranty is really good. Not something I have to really worry about as much because I work with these companies, or Pro Guide specifically. So warranty is great. Usually they're around a decade. That's what you're looking at for this one. And then also they're just very durable. They're just reliable, durable. A lithium, technology nowadays, especially Pro Guide, they just do it right. The main reason, though, that I really like, and also I really do need to mention this one because this is a really big one. Charging. How fast lithium batteries charge for your trolling motor system is a huge, huge deal. I was just thinking about it the other day. When I was in college, I was running traditional lead acid and AGM batteries, whatever I could afford. And you would always, you'd have that one day on Okeechobee where you'd just be running hard and you'd really run those batteries all the way down and you'd plug it in as soon as you got back to the house or the hotel. And then you wake up bright and early in the morning to go launch the boat, and the lights are still red on the charger. The infamous red lights on the charger. You want that blinking green. You want that green light or whatever your charger lights up to show that it's fully charged. And with traditional batteries, they just take so much longer to charge. So that's a big, big deal with trolling motor batteries. Of course, with your cranking battery, it's still important, but your engine, your alternator on your engine can help out throughout the day. You can still do some stuff to maintain that power with your cranking battery, but your trolling motor system, unless you got a power pole charge in there, you're pretty much, out of luck. So charging and how fast lithium batteries charge is a really big deal. But the main reason why I love lithium batteries and why they're the only type of battery that I would put in for my trolling motor system is because of the flat power curve. Going back again to like when I was in college fishing Lake Okeechobee, that's going through a lot. You're going through a lot of grass flats, just powering through Kissimmee grass and hydrilla and things like that. And with traditional batteries, AGMs and lead acid, you start to lose power throughout the day. Okay. But the way that you're losing power is like in the morning when the batteries are fresh, they're fully charged, the trolling motor is just at its best. It's really pumping out some thrust. And then by the end of the day, you're still got power to that trolling motor, but the prop is just barely spinning. So you can't get through those grass mats near as good. But with lithium, you don't see that type of drop off in thrust with your trolling motor, because it has a flat power curve. So the beginning of the day when the batteries are fresh, it's pretty much the same as you're going to see in the afternoon or close to it. When the batteries do die, though, they die completely. They just kind of drop off the face of the earth. Now, I'll be honest, I have actually never had, since I've been running lithium batteries, and this is just because I make sure that I have the right power system for my boat, never had where my batteries I just use all my battery power throughout a day. I've had one instance on the St. Lawrence River where I had a battery that went into hibernation mode because of a bad charger, but I've never had them just naturally, run out of juice throughout the day. So that's saying something, because that's like 6 or 7 years of fishing with lithium batteries and not having any instance where I've actually experienced that power, loss. That's a big deal. So that's why lithium batteries are so big, is like if you're fishing heavy grass lakes, or you're fishing lakes that have a lot of wind sometimes, or you got a lot of current, having that flat power curve, having the same amount of power, same amount of thrust going through your trolling motor in the beginning of the day, in the end of the day, that's a big deal. And I think everybody pretty much agrees on that. That's why lithium is such a big deal right now, even though it's more expensive. So those are the reasons why I like to have lithium for my trolling motor system. So let's talk about the starting and house battery system. So why use AGMs? Because they're heavier. They still are super reliable power. I wouldn't use them if they weren't ultra reliable, but they're just heavier overall. And, a lot of people consider them outdated technology. I do not. So the number one reason why I still use them for my cranking and house battery system is because they are super reliable. They, if I was paying for these myself, they'd also be a little bit cheaper. But they're super reliable. But let's get into why they may be a little bit better than lithium if you have the choice. The reason why AGMs are still my primary choice is because they're heavier. That's right. I know that kind of goes against the grain. Everybody's like, yeah, lightening up the boat is a good thing. That weight savings is a big deal with lithium. Yeah, it can be, but a lot of people overdo it. If you take too much weight out of the back of these boats, a lot of boats are designed with that weight in mind. Having those AGM batteries, that extra weight in the back, is actually baked in to the design of these boats. So I've had a lot of boats where if you reduce the weight too much in the back, you essentially are taking the engine more and more out of the water, and you're just not getting, the prop isn't catching enough water to propel you as fast as you would if you had a little bit more weight in there. So it really has to do with the ride quality, the handling, and the performance of a lot of these boats. You still need a little bit of weight back there. So it's actually a really good thing to have a couple heavier batteries in there. Yeah, saving, 100 pounds or whatever by going the lithium on the trolling motor system, that's actually a benefit. But you don't want to go overboard because you can actually ruin the way that your boat rides and performs by going too light. So I still personally use 2 AGMs, and a lot of times what I'll do is like this in this next build, I'm going to try to put the AGMs on either side of the boat to kind of, balance out that weight. And if anything, if we don't put them on opposite ends of the boat, I'm probably going to put them on the other side of the boat for me, the passenger side, because I'm a big, heavy dude, and I want to kind of disperse the weight in that fashion. But anyways, the weight is actually the big reason why I like to still go with lithium or with AGMs for the cranking and house battery. I'm just not sold on taking all of that weight out of the back of the boats. So over time, as more companies start designing, holes with a lithium, the weight that you see with a full lithium system in mind, I think that may change. But for now, I'm going off of what a lot of really smart people, I go to Ultramarine and BassBoatElectronics.com for all my rigging, and they've concurred with that, is that you don't want to remove too much weight from the back of these boats, because then you kind of get in that zone where, you're losing some performance. So anyways, guys, I know things will change over time, but that's the reason why I still use AGMs. Just a little bit extra weight. All right, guys. So anyways, hopefully that answers the question. If you guys have any questions at all, or you have a topic you want me to do in the next video, drop a comment below. Other than that, check out Pro Guide batteries. They are amazing. Unfortunately, you missed the Black Friday sale, which was pretty key. It was a pretty awesome sale, but you can still get these batteries online. We'll put the link in the description below. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to see you out on the water. Make sure you trust the process.